Alright, so the next thing we're going to review is the air cart. Please understand this is the basics of an SCBA just broke apart into smaller pieces. If you have not been trained on this, then please keep it very simple as far as your operations with it. You may be, really, if you're not trained on it, you're not going to be using it, but we want you to understand if we say we need to set up the air cart, we're going to confined space entry, that is everything that is on that pull-out tray. Also understand that that pull-out tray was an add-on that me and Rob did, that it really isn't designed for anything more than what's sitting on it whenever it's pushed in, not whenever it's pulled out. So what I mean by that is pull it out, get the stuff off of it, and push it back in.
The best bet is unload all the hoses and this, and then go for the cart by pulling it out.
Right. Now, understand, like also, this is very special. We're the only one in the county that is carrying one on their actual apparatus. So it's just a unique thing. Now, like I said, it's only an SCBA. It's nothing more crazy, anything crazier than that. So we have our air cart. So think about this as your back frame. Okay, you have cylinders. On our cylinders, these are 1-hour cylinders. You're just giving us more working time. It's still 1 hour at 4,500 psi.
And that's 1 hour rated for one person. Typically, we're doing a C space, you may be 2 people, so you're splitting that air.
Now, we start out with the big cylinders. We can go with the smaller cylinders. Okay, they're still the same connection. If you run out of small cylinders, where's your adapter at? To start using quick connect cylinders. Yeah, you gotta get in the Paratech box and get the adapter out. The issue with that is you're gonna have one on one side. So if you're in an incident, you need to either go to engine 5.2 or engine 5.4 or the Quint if you need to get the other one. Or the benefit is get one of your driver operator, somebody start running the cascade system, start filling cylinders.
The other thing, if we're doing this is going to be a C-space operation. If we have a C-space operation, most of the chiefs are going to make a request for the hazmat rig for additional monitoring and additional equipment. That's also coming with a plethora of hour cylinders that are threaded fittings.
Just understand, you gotta have a supply of air cylinders. If you go somewhere else, as long as they're 4,500 psi with a thread on, they're going to work. So if we go to MSA land somewhere, as long as they have that thread on them, they're still going to work for our system. Okay? Or again, just start chucking them back to the cascade system or call for another cascade system. Okay? We can make a connection into the cascade system directly, but we don't have those connections on ours. So we're still going to play the game of cylinders. If you do have a cascade system, this will be the cascade connection. As you can tell, it looks, as it is, exactly the same as an air cylinder. Okay, so the cascade system is built directly into that. So across the bottom, we have our connections. Okay, we have on every regulator, we got air in and air out. Top side showing you your cylinder pressure. The bottom side is showing you the pressure it's going to be regulated to. From there, we go into our hoses. So there's a safety built into the hoses again, much like the Ajax hose. It must line up to open it up. These are going to be a push to connect, push it straight in, it is connected. If I want to take it apart, again, line up the ball to remove it. From there, I go into my cylinder, or my escape cylinder. Remember, this is an escape cylinder. Lines up, it pushes in. From that point, this is going to operate like any other Scott cylinder SCBA that we have. We don't carry any extra face pieces in here because we use the ones off the recipe. Okay. As I said, this is the escape cylinder. So in normal operation, this is always going to be closed. You're only going to open this if you have an issue with your airlock. Okay? There are a few out there that some have, these are open and you kind of work through it. This one is going to stay closed unless you need it. Okay, because think about it in your mind, yes, my cylinder is already turned on. Okay? So with my cylinder on, okay, now I'm going to set my regulator. What do I set it at? 2 in the morning, not sure what the pressure is. Rob wrote it on there for you. Okay, 60 to 100. 60, Q100. There we go. Okay? So I have air from my cylinder through my regulator, from my regulator into my mast-mounted regulator. Everything up here is going to work the same. If I need to get some air out of it, I'm going to open my, I call it the bypass. Danny's going to call it its official name, purge valve. Okay. Throws a doffing switch on it whenever I take it off. The thing to understand what this is, the max you can go from the actual brains of this is
300 feet.
300 feet.
We don't have enough.
Our limitation right now is we only have 200 feet of hose.
We have 400 feet of hose.
2 people.
Huh?
Two.
We only have 2? We have 250?
These are 50s.
Those are 50s.
These are 50s.
Yeah, so we need more.
Yeah, so we're working on, we have a connection for more hose because that's where we're limited at. Because ideally, if we have 2 people in a confined space, we have 2 backup. Our issue now is, depending on how close they are to the opening, you may only have 2 rescuers on this system and your backup people are going to be on conventional SCBA. Okay? We're working on more hose, and then we can actually have all 4 people set up to operate on this. Okay? Just understand there is a limit how far away from this thing you're going to operate. Okay? But the nuts and bolts, you see what you got. It's very simple. All right? If I'm using this, so I just turn the cylinder off, open my purge. You should hear a whistle. Alright, so there's your indication that I need to be changing my cylinders out. I hope I never hear that whistle, right? Because when we start this operation, somebody stays with this thing. You stand here, you operate this thing, and you have a line of cylinders beside you. So really then you're going to have a cylinder caddy who is just keeping your power cylinders full, and you're never going to leave this cart once it gets going.
The process of that is when my cylinder is getting down low, and I'm to the point of change, I got to open another one up, then close it. Don't close it and then open, because if you end up getting screwed up in there, there's a problem. So you're going to open the other one up, you're going to close it. So you're not going to equalize because they're going into the regulators.
So any questions about this system? Just understand when we ask for one part of it, everything comes off and you can see how it gets set up.
The other thing, depending, if you got 2 people working off this cylinder, that is huffing on this cylinder faster than they typically are with an SCBA. Hot, humid days, you better have a glove because this thing's going to be getting packed with ice. You know, so you can get a good grip on it and pull it. You can get auto refrigeration on these, and these fittings can freeze up if you got people in there really taxing the system.
So really with this system right now, we're maxed out at about 100 feet. Because we're really not going to put one person on it and then have the backup person on an SCBA, but it is possible.